county officials and technicians in project planning and CDA implementation. Today, August 14, 2025. As per our agenda, we have done registration and breakfast. We want to ensure that everybody in here, you will do registration. Please, if you are not done that after the OPD section, then you do that. We will now call on the county authority, the superintendent or his designee to make welcome remarks.
Good morning. Madam Lieutenant Bassa, Deputy Minister for Budget, Number DP, our various superintendents, county development officers, county funder officers, our partners, members of the MDP family. I would like to say you are welcome to Bassa County, the county of hospitality, and the city of love. On behalf of the superintendent who have traveled on an engagement issue in one of our districts, district number 4, there was the county was informed that Palm Bay did a spray in the procession. The people were affected. So there was a riot yesterday. So you are going there to make sure you put out of control. So Madam, he extended greetings to you and all our guests here today. Welcome and have a good evening.
Thank you for the remark. Now we go to special remark. We will have representative from the Ministry of Internal Affairs who will do special remark. So we have Superintendent Foley Katama from Grand Kidmont County with more remarks.
Good morning to all. Deputy Minister of Budget, Minister of Finance, fellow superintendents here present, well, I think I can just continue and I will start again. Development officers of the Liberia counties here present, county council members if they are in here, technicians from the Liberia County administrations here for this purpose, the facilitators of this organized training from the Liberia Ministry of Internal Affairs and the Ministry of Finance, UNDP, one and all, of press, one and all. For and on behalf of the superintendents of the Liberia counties in the Republic of Liberia, we'd like to say thanks to the organizers of this training workshop for a CDA development implementation. We can assure you all, as superintendents, that this workshop will be fully implemented once the counties receive the support from the implementing partners and the government of Liberia. We believe that the experience from here will also be shared with others, and we would like to encourage the Ministry of Internal Affairs and the Ministry of Finance and their partners to continue such training or workshop to enable our local staff to be trained and be prepared to serve this country. Again, I'd like to say to you all that this workshop is fruitful. We can guarantee you all that what we learn from here will be fully implemented. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable Sue, for the remarks. We now call on Honorable Tyler G. Brunson, Deputy Minister for Budget at the Ministry of Finance and Development Planning, for the official remarks.
Thank you, and good morning to everyone. Honorable Superintendent, other county authorities, distinguished officials from ministries, agencies, and commissions, our dedicated facilitators and valued participants. On behalf of the Ministry of Finance and Development Planning, and in particular the Minister and the entire leadership team, I bring you warm greetings and sincere appreciation for your commitment to advancing development at the county level. It is a privilege for me to join you at this important training for county officials and technicians. However, I want you to see this not as just another training. I want you to see it as a strategic investment, an investment in human and institutional capacity of our local governance structures. The county development agenda is more than a policy document. It is our collective blueprint for transforming the lives of every county, from Grand Crew to Lupa, from Monserrado to Maryland. So it is very important that your capacities are developed to ensure that you effectively manage the affairs of your counties. The Ministry of Finance and Development Planning and other stakeholders have worked with you to develop your county development agenda, which spells out what you hope to achieve over the period of the AIT. But let us be clear, the success of these agendas depends not only on the availability of resources, but on the competence, the coordination, and the commitment of those entrusted with the implementation. You, our county leaders and technical teams. Over the 3 days, you will be equipped with practical tools in project identification, design, monitoring, and evaluation. You will also deepen your understanding of stakeholder engagement, coordination mechanisms, and sustainable measures, particularly in integrating environmental concerns and climate change adaptations into our planning processes. The CDA process remains a central pillar of our National Development Framework under a REST agenda for inclusive development. But its true impact will only be realized if these plans are translated into tangible community-level results. Better schools, improved health facilities, better infrastructure, vibrant local economies, and sustainable livelihood for our people. I therefore encourage you to approach these sessions with openness and problem-solving approach. Ask tough questions, Share your field experiences. Engage actively in the group work. Remember, your role is not just to plan and implement. It is to serve as accountable stewards of public resources and champions of the community-driven development. Let me reassure you that the Ministry of Finance and Development Planning is committed to supporting county-level planning and implementation. This will be done through better budget alignment, timely disbursements, and ongoing technical backstopping. We are also working closely with our development partners to ensure that the CDA is fully integrated into the national and sectorial priorities to make coordination efforts stronger and encourage more effective resource mobilization. In closing, I would like to thank our facilitators, our development partners, and each of you for making the initiative possible. Together, let us ensure that the county development agendas are not just written plans, but living frameworks that will be used to drive real change and deliver lasting benefits to our people. Thank you, and I wish you all productive and inspiring deliberations.
Thank you, Madam Minister, for that remark. Now it's about time for us to know each and all right, who in the room, where we're from. So it's time for self-introduction. The mic will go around the table and introduce yourself, where you come from, county, and everything.
My introduction is just MPJ, a Sano County engineer.
Good morning. I'm the Captain SPP Senior, Resident Engineer, Western County, Minister of Public Works.
Good morning. My name is Josiah Tria. I work at the Justice County of the Superintendent of Western County. Also, Willow, I'm the Western County.
I'm Estella Ajevon Loki, County Development Officer, Western County.
My name is Stella Nathaniel Bayu, the County Project Planner for the county.
My name is Tafi B. Fofona, County General Coordinator, Babu County.
Ernest M. Stalin, County Project Planner, Nasrata County.
My name is Jerry Boskubu, County Director, Legislature.
My name is Charles Muslim, Project Planner of Babu County.
My name is Manuel Kopo, Administrative Assistant and Technician, Babu County Station Office.
My name is Andrew T. Joseph, County Engineer, Babu County.
My name is Yapupi Famu, County Engineer, Mosolana County.
Good morning. I'm the number 8 normally and the Development Officer, Babu County.
Good morning. I'm Joanna Bala, CS Program Bassa County.
Good morning. I'm Honorable Frederick K. Court Jr., County Development Officer, Sano County.
Good morning. My name is Alfred B. Evina, County Development Officer for me county.
Good morning. My name is Amos Jafawo, I work for Legislature for me county.
My name is Agosi J. Saya, County Engineer, Bomi County.
Good morning. My name is Amjad Kiao, Data Analyst, County County.
Good morning. My name is Abdul Arthur, Project Planner of Bank of County.
Good morning. I'm Honorable Aaron Fode Samola, County Development Officer of Grand Cape County.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Miata A.K. Munga, Gender Coordinator, Bomi County.
Good morning. My name is Usman Dikanen, Director of Radio, Grand Cape County.
Good morning. I'm Patrick S. Wilson Senior, Administrative Assistant, County Superintendent Office, Sano.
Greetings. I'm Justin D.S. Mentry, County Project Planner, Sino.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Lina Hawa Magona, Gender Coordinator for Grand Cape County.
Good morning to everyone. My name is Anchi Toifari, Gender Coordinator, Sino County.
My name is Joe M. Dennis. I'm the Administrative Assistant to the Superintendent of Moscow County.
My name is Avin Chikwano, County Monitoring Officer, Grand Cape County.
I'm Chief Mamato, Minister of Finance.
My name is Ahamadu Esano, County Monitoring Officer of Bomi County.
My name is Musa Dikene, CMO, Babolu County.
My name is Elijah J. Bablu, County Monitoring Officer, Rivers County.
Good morning. My name is Lucia K. Tape, County Development Officer, Moscow County.
Good morning. I'm Benedict Junior, and my wife is Minister of General Children and Social Protection, County General Coordinator for Moscow.
Yes. Good morning. Yeah, I'm Mr. S. Spokesman. I'm Mr. S. Spokesman, County Director, Legis Process.
UBS Gabriel is my name. I represent the peace-loving people of Sino County as their county council chairperson or server for 24.
Good morning, Deputy Minister for Budget and Planning, Minister of Finance and Development Planning. And I want to recognize one of our superintendents in the house. My name is J. Wisa Ekan, the Finance Officer of Sano County. Thank you.
I am James Kiger, MFDP.
Good morning, I'm Slowian Nipi from Sino County, Legis Director.
Good morning. My name is Bill G. Miller, the Regional Development Officer of Sino County.
Good morning to everyone. My name is Stanley T. Fiama. I'm the County Monitor Officer of Montserrat County. And of course, I work with the Ministry of Finance and Development Planning.
Good morning. My name is Nicholas Kia, Minister of Internal Affairs, MAE Officer.
Good morning. I'm Joseph S. Yap, County Director, Legis Grand Bassa.
Good morning. I'm Thomas H. David, Grand Bassa County Project Planner, the Home of Hospitality.
To our table.
Good morning, my name is Precious F. Kelly, Planning Analyst at the Ministry of Finance.
My name is Dorinda Sonkade. I work for the Ministry of Finance and Development Planning as Planning Officer.
Good morning. I'm Oliver T. Bibo, Minister of Finance, Internal Auditor.
My name is Christian Tuka, work with the Ministry of Finance and Development Planning as Project Analyst.
And my name is Arvin Lupwe, Senior FAE Analyst, Ministry of Finance and Development Planning. Okay, thank you for self-introduction. At least one way or other we will know somebody's name or where we come from, right? At this time, we want to have evidence of only this workshop, right? The only evidence we can hold to is the picture. So we all will see out there where we have the banner to do our group photo. And booking will do for us the objective of this whole important training workshop.
Good morning, everybody. I'm the Minister for Budget and Development Planning. Our boss said who should work on county authorities, co-chair of the Superintendent Council, representatives of various marks on counties representing here this program, and the rest of us from the Ministry of Internal Affairs and my police technicians from MFDP. Minister, as we started yesterday, we did a whole day package presentation and we rolled out yesterday on coordinations and implementation. Yesterday was a gathering of all superintendents from the 7 counties. Our training is then divided into 2. 8 counties are gathered in one county, where Director Whelan is leading on that process with other team of technicians. And the Deputy Minister for Internal Affairs for Research and Planning, Mr. Moloba, paired with him yesterday and had a panel discussion with Sidiki Koshia from UNDP. Yesterday was a Ugandan experience yesterday. On this side, we were yesterday joined by the Deputy Minister for Operations, the Korean Deputy Minister for Operations, Selina Posen. She was here yesterday and we had a panel discussion on the experience learned from the counties and the best practice. The Ugandan experience also. We did a presentation yesterday on roles and responsibilities in project identifications and project users in the county. We did county level coordinations yesterday. We also have experience learning and sharing on superintendents, county development officers. Yesterday we were also represented by county councils, chairperson, co-chair, and secretary general. On that note, the county development officers were left here with draft through. Given that they are leading on the county development agenda, they are still here up to Saturday. So today, tomorrow, and Saturday, we will be basically having more technical engagement. We will be doing the presentations on project identification, project proposal, how local actors can develop their own county level projects as been described in the CEAs. We will specifically look at them, the various models, monitoring evaluations, what activity will be monitoring and evaluating for the next one, the monitoring organs, the mail framework as each county CDAs have been developed by your MFE unit to develop each county MFE framework. What activity projects each county has been there to look at and what we do. We will also have follow-up and coordinations on county. There are screenages and coordinations conflict related to each county authorities, specific rules of the superintendent in the implementation and modality, specific rule of the county development officer, specific rule of county legis coordinators on data collections, specific rules of the gender coordinations as it relates. We'll also be looking at the county planning units, the organs on the Local Government Act 2018 that calls for the establishment of the county planning unit. And as such, participants themselves will do practical and hands-on demonstration how to develop counties. They will be grouped into how to develop projects by themselves. We'll do an example and present it. They will do their MAE and present it and coordination modalities. These are things that we'll be doing out for the 3 days. County engineers are also here to look at how these infrastructural projects are also done. So the participants brought here are from legis, general, engineers, county project planners, technical focus person in each of the superintendent's offices to understand how, in the absence of their bosses, they can relate to some of the documentation that will come, given the administrative and the political role of the superintendent of their basic schedule in the county. MIA technicians are also here working together in enhancing the county development agenda. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Booking, for the objective. So there's the all right, so at this time we will call on Assistant Director Sidiki Kamara, who will do our first presentation on the introduction to project management.
Good morning, everyone. Okay. All right, it's good to see you. I'm sure there are some familiar faces here from yesterday. Yeah, so it's good to be here again. Today we're going to talk about. Are you ready now? No, not yet. Okay. Why I've been waiting, seeking out for the technical folks. Would like to speak briefly about, or do a quick recap of what happened yesterday. Yesterday, for those of you, okay. Yesterday, one of the topics that generated, huge interest was around coordination, and so many of you had very good inputs to make regarding coordination and how the lack of it is undermining the smooth implementation of the CDA or the AID at the county level. And I really admire the frank discussion, the frank conversation we had yesterday, and some of your recommendations that we told you that we have people taking notes of those recommendations, and we ensure that they are flagged in the reports that will come out of these sessions, so that we can elevate these concerns to our principals for them to discuss at the policy level and make some policy adjustments to enhance coordination. And one of the things that came out of the coordination, the conversation around coordination, was the fact that there are different layers of influence at the country level, and the same thing exists at the national level. Somebody mentioned the lawmakers perceiving most of these district projects as means of promoting themselves politically in their respective districts. And while your understanding of it is something is a tool for impacting people's lives rather than who's connected to it. So usually the coordination framework around implementation is actually seen from different perspectives. Why you see it from an implementation standpoint, others are seen it from a political, promotional standpoint, and how you struggle to come to consensus, to get one consensus in terms of agreeing on what to do. So these are very interesting feedback we got yesterday, and the Minister of Marketing said for the Ministry of Internal Affairs, most of these concerns are not new. Okay, for someone who has been a superintendent and financial minister, I think she was able to share her own experiences. She and Director Boke shared their experiences with you regarding the difficulties in working at the country level, and how and what you can do to navigate to all of those challenges, to rise above those challenges and achieve something. And I'm sure from the feedback after the panel discussion, most of you acknowledge that you hear a lot from them. So today we're going to continue the same conversation because we have a new group with us. We have some new counties joining us. So it is our hope that we'll have the same kind of frank conversation and find a way forward to enhancing development outcomes at the county level. All right, so introduction to project management. Most of the things we want to do at the county level, even at the national level, the mechanism through which we can be able to implement the priorities that we have agreed on as a country, most of the implementation will be done through project. So project management will be at the core of our implementation strategy. And as a result, we need to introduce you to some fundamentals of project management so that we take into account some of the things that we need to do when it comes to managing projects at the local level. And it is not significantly different from what's happening at the national level because project management is project management regardless of where it is done. So the same principles apply. Okay, so project management as a discipline, because it's something that you can even study and get degrees up to PhD in it. So as a discipline, it is a way of planning, organizing, and overseeing resources to achieve specific project goals within defined constraints, like time and budget. You can also add your own definition based on your experience as long as the principles are consistent. So this is a universally accepted definition of project management. So it is a discipline of planning, organizing, overseeing resources. Mind you, at the core of this, we're talking about resources. And when we say resources, it's not just about money. It will be human resources, financial resources, and other types of resources that will be relevant or significant for project implementation. Yes. So, key aspects of project management, yes. Let's show everything. I don't want to. Yeah. So when you talk about project planning, it actually means defining the scope of your project, the goals, the deliverables, and the timeline. So the scope of the project is what is it going to cover? How big is the project? And how small is it? Where is it limited to? What is it limited to? So that's what the scope actually refers to. So, and it also focuses on the goals of the project. What do you want to achieve by doing this project? So by building this school, what's the end game? What is in your mind to achieve? What do you want to achieve as a result of doing this project? What are the key deliverables? And what's the timeline? So the timeline that you have within which you intend to implement this project. When it comes to organizing, it means assembling and allocating resources to be able to do the project. And by resources, we mean people, the budget, the materials, the input that you put into the project. Those are the resources, they constitute the resources. And motivation, and in terms of motivating, we mean to inspire and guide people, especially the project team, so you can be able to achieve your objectives. Then yesterday we talked about it, and you should be able and willing to work with each other. There was a struggle yesterday about the executive leadership of the county against the county council, and they'll be struggling as to who's supposed to do what, who's supposed to monitor the project, who's supposed to design the project, who's supposed to evaluate. So when you commented that this will create controversy, the goal of the Ministry of Finance and Development Planning or the government at large is not to create controversy at the local level in terms of project management. It's quite the opposite. The goal is to enhance coordination and make you work with each other so that there can be check and balances at the local level. Everyone will know what they're responsible to do
Yet you can still work together and create a harmonious working environment to achieve your project goal. But with the struggle between the two groups, it's not an us against them arrangement. It's for you to mutually reinforce each other's capacity. So let's see it from that perspective. So you have to be able to motivate the team in order to achieve your goal, especially the project team with other stakeholders. Controlling. By controlling, to control a project, it actually means to monitor the progress of the project. So you don't just award a contract for construction so you come in and just go and relax. No. You have to have a dedicated team that will monitor the progress of the construction work to ensure that the goals of the project are achieved. And that includes managing the risks. There could be risks that will pop up. And making adjustment based on the risk. This is why in our project teams will have risk management, will have risk boards. When you take note of the risks, you identify all the internal and external risks that could potentially manifest, that could potentially happen. And you also put in place mitigation measures that in case those risks manifest, these are the measures you take to mitigate their impact on the project. And you also in our metric, we have the likelihood of occurrence of these risks. Some of the risks may not occur, some of them may likely occur. For example, and you have to be honest about the risks. Sometimes when we read some of these project documents, we'll notice that some of the agencies are not honest about the risks. Maybe they are successful, when they are honest, entirely honest about all of the risks, the potential risks of the project, it will impact the decision making for the Ministry of Finance. No. The reason why it's important for you to identify all of the risks honestly is because it helps us to put strategy in place to mitigate the occurrence of it. For example, if you want to construct a school in a faraway place, say Yapatan, or maybe Yapatan is on the new road, let's say somewhere off the road. Okay, and one of the risks could be maybe theft of the material, because you have to take the materials there. Maybe you have a makeshift structure that you want to put the materials in the construction is going on. So you have to be honest to say theft could be a potential risk. And now, if you identify that as a risk, then you'll be able to put in place measures to mitigate that, either by hiring a security firm to man the facility that will be hosting or that will be housing those materials. But you only do that if you are honest about the potential risks to the project. And there are some risks that you don't have control over. For example, some risks are natural. Like rainy season, for example, there could be rain about all your projects, your project being exposed to rain to destroy the project. You can be honest to say this is a risk, it's an external risk, we don't have control over it. And there are some other external risks, like lack of funding. For example, if there's a possibility for the budget to be recast, and you could potentially experience funding cut or there could be reallocation. That's a risk that sometimes even the Ministry of Finance does not have control over, because circumstances can change in the economy. The projections will not all be perfect. Okay? So the next one, communication. So you have to maintain an open and transparent communication with all the stakeholders on the project. There are so many different stakeholders that you are serving or that you are working with. So your ability as a project manager to communicate transparently, openly, and effectively with all of the stakeholders is critical to the success of the project. And by transparency, we mean information that's supposed to be told to specific stakeholders. You need to tell them, you can't hide it from them because you feel that they're not supposed to know, or by telling them you'll be telling them too much. So it's always good to communicate effectively to all your stakeholders, and the stakeholders are at different levels. For example, you are partnering with certain agencies or certain groups. Like in the case of the local, we showed you the diagram yesterday. Okay, we'll also show it today. We'll show the diagram today as well. When it comes to the county council needs to be consulted when it comes to project management. We'll show you that diagram yesterday. The county development officer is the person who is in charge of the project design, project development, and project implementation at the county level. He or she is a technical person responsible for project design. When the superintendent wants a project done, the superintendent looks up to the county development officer for the technical design of the project. So the person who serves now capacity as county development officer needs to be thoroughly familiar with all of the development plans. The person needs to be familiar with the AID, the goals of the AID, the specific policy areas, the programs of the AID, the key interventions. The person also needs to be familiar with the CDA, the county development agenda. Because you cannot be county development officer for a county if you don't know, the county development agenda of that county. At least we're not saying that you don't write the document, but at least you know the key priorities and interventions for your county. So that when the superintendent asks you to develop a project, or when the superintendent wants a project developed, you develop a project consistent with the priorities spelled out in your county development agenda. So that's why it's important. So this person will be the go-to person for project. And that person needs to be able to communicate with the relevant stakeholders, the county council, or the other agencies in the county. For example, if there's a road project, obviously you need to network, you need to communicate with the public works engineer on the ground. If there's a gender-related project, you need to bring in the ministry of gender folks at the county level. If it's agriculture, so you need to be able to bring all of the key stakeholders together. And those are the stakeholders in terms of partnership, in terms of those that are directly involved in the project. There are some stakeholders that may not be directly involved in the project, but they benefit from the project. You shouldn't leave out those stakeholders, for example. So if you're dealing with people living with disability, those that are affected by that condition, they are stakeholders of the project. They have to be able to communicate with them. If you are dealing with high school dropouts, they themselves are stakeholders. You have to be able to communicate with them. They are stakeholders at a different level. So you need to be able to map your stakeholders, because project communication can only be effective if you map out your stakeholders appropriately. So you need to do a map and know who are the stakeholders connected to the project. Because the communication we're talking about here, you're going to be communicating with the project stakeholders. How do you effectively communicate with the project stakeholders when you don't know them? You need to know all of them, you need to know the frequency of communication. How frequently you need to communicate with the county council? How frequently you need to communicate with the superintendent? How frequently you need to update the superintendent about the project, the progress of the project? How frequently you need to communicate with the other stakeholders from different institutions? You need to know. And there's a meeting that I usually have at the county level called the CDSC meeting. Is this thing going on? Yeah. The CSC meeting is also a crucial platform for communication, because you have a lot of stakeholders coming at the CSC meeting. And there you can also use that platform to communicate with relevant stakeholders. And also we have resource management, optimizing the use of resources. And by resources would mean time, budget, and person. So how do you optimize the use of resources on the project? Critical. So it's not about how many people you have on the project. It's not about how much money you have on the project. It's not about how much time you have. It's all about how effectively you use what you have. We can give you all of the money, we can give you all the time, we can give you all the technicians you want. If you don't use them, you don't deploy them appropriately, the project will still fail. So it's extremely important for you to utilize the project resources effectively and appropriately, so that you can get the desired outcome. And the only way to do that is to be able to identify the personnel you need at what time, the resources you need at what time, and how long it will take you to achieve a particular output. This is why, as the Minister of Finance and Development, is good that our Deputy Minister is here, Minister Samuel G. Bronson. He's very keen on something called a spending plan. She almost never approves any project without a spending plan. The reason for that is the spending plan helps you space resource allocation appropriately. We don't say the budget, we don't have money sitting at the Ministry of Finance as the budget. The budget is a projection, it's a plan, like we'll generate this amount of money and we'll spend it this week. So when we'll take a project proposal to her from any entity, you want to know whether they have a spending plan, whether they have a procurement plan, whether they have a detailed budget. And she also wants to know whether the spending plan is linked to the budget, and whether the budget is linked to the procurement plan, and whether they all integrated in the project. The reason for that is because of resource allocation. She has to make sure that allocate resources appropriately and prudently. Mind you, there are multiple projects coming on board. There are so many projects. There's huge project on the pressure on the budget. So if you have a spending plan, maybe a project is, let's say, $1 million, but you don't need all the $1 million in quarter one, because we have 4 quarters in the budget here. January, February, March is quarter 1. April, May, June, quarter 2. July, August, September, quarter 3. October, November, December, quarter 4. So she needs to know what portion of your $1 million you need in quarter 1, and what portion you need in quarter 2, and what portion just a gap. So that you can have the cash management. You will know that you will predict the pressure on the budget in quarter 1 based on the spending plan. You will know, okay, for this project we need 200,000 in quarter 1, the other project, it can help to enhance the predictability of allocation. You can predict that we will need to allocate this because this pressure will exist in quarter 1 and 2, just a gap. So it all goes back to how efficiently and appropriately allocate resources and how you rationalize it so that it creates space for people to implement their project. If we give $1 million in quarter 1, you're not using the $1 million in quarter 1, and another project needs 500,000 in quarter 1, and you got $1 million in quarter 1, you're not using 500,000 extra. So it's a problem because the money is coming solely, from the revenue standpoint. So that's why it's important for you to know efficient resource management. Risk management, identifying potential problems and developing mitigation strategy. I already talked about that. Next slide, please. That's true. Okay, so successful project completion. Most of the time, so it ensures projects are completed on time, within budget, and meet the required quality standard. This is what we actually want. We want to get value for money. We want to make sure that when we spend the money, the projects are completed on time, the projects are completed within the budget, and they meet the required standard. So it's not just about doing the project. It's about doing the project in the right way and achieving the actual result that we want from the project. So that's very, very key. Okay, efficient resource allocation. It helps to optimize the use of resources, minimizing waste, and maximizing productivity. We don't want you to waste government money. There's a tendency for people to say this is our government money, our public money. So the kind of way to be careful to use their personal money. You want to be careful to use government money. Even personal vehicles. When you drive your own car, you don't want to pass certain road, you don't want to bounce certain way in certain area. You'll be very careful because when anything goes wrong, it's your own vehicle, you need to repair it. Contrary-wise, when some people are driving government vehicles, they can just go anywhere, do anything with it because at the end of the day, they're not losing anything, the government is losing. So we have to be very careful how we use public resources. We need to minimize waste and maximize productivity. Okay, and I already talked about risk mitigation, so we're going to improve collaboration. The concept of improved collaboration, it fosters effective communication and collaboration among the team and stakeholders. I already talked about that. Next slide. So we have the phases of project management. So in project management, you answer a few questions. You as a project manager, you need to answer a few questions. Why are we doing this project? Why are we doing this project? You need to answer that question. You also need to answer the question, what do we really want to do? What do we really want to do? And how do we want to do it? How do we want to do it? So if you answer these questions as a project manager, you'll be able to know who to bring on board to help you do it. You'll be able to know the resources you need to get it done. You'll be able to know the importance of that project to the community or to the beneficiaries, because you have asked yourself, you have answered the critical questions surrounding that project. So you see, and the responses to those questions will inform how you initiate the project, And that will inform how you plan the project, how you execute the project, how you monitor and close the project, monitor, control, and close the project. Monitoring and controlling is using, we talk about monitoring and controlling, because when you monitor the progress, when you control it means you're making sure that what you have seen on the project site, the negative things you have seen, you're correcting them. When I say project controlling, so make sure that, okay, you notice the guy is supposed to mold the bricks certain way. I don't know the technical engineering for it, but you realize that now it requires amount of cement in it, and you have detected that. So to control that, you make sure that they don't use the one that is not the real concrete. They do another one, get engineers to monitor them, they do the cement the right way, and construct the building the right way. So you control it. And the controlling is monitoring that can help you to control the project. If you don't monitor what's happening, you can't control it. So, and if you do that effectively, the project will be successful and you can close it. Next slide, please. So by initiating the project, that's the first phase of the project. Usually the brainstorming phase, you come and talk about what you want to do and how you want to adjust your team, how you want to develop the proposal, how you want to make sure you put the key things in the proposal that will tell you about the project objectives, the goals, the justification of the project, the key priority, how is the project linked to the CDA. When you want to do a proposal, one key thing you need to look at is how is this project linked to our county development agenda. Your county development agenda can say a priority like education, healthcare, agriculture, tourism. Then you do a major project in space exploration. Okay? Space exploration is not in your county development agenda. So you need to be able to convince your project folks or the approving authority that yeah, we need to forever agriculture, education, healthcare, and do space exploration because that's your new priority. So you need to link it to your project, your county development agenda, and by extension, the national development, which is the rest agenda for inclusive development. Next slide, please. Now the planning phase. The planning phase, you need to be able to detail your plan properly, how the plan will be executed, and how the stakeholders will work together to achieve the desired result, and how you want to assess your risks properly, how you want to make sure to mitigate the risks. Like in some projects, you do 2 feasibility assessments. Sometimes you do pre-feasibility, like for somebody who work projects, you will go through pre-feasibility and see whether the project will actually be a success. And after that, based on the pre-feasibility and what feasibility. So there's that was telling them to go into it. That's where the project becomes deliberate. You don't even want to do it because you get money. It has to be a deliberate determination to implement that particular intervention. So you put some time into it, you study it, you plan it, you organize your team, so that you can be able to achieve the project desired result. And you also make sure you do proper costing, you do proper risk analysis. One of the problems we're having at project is project costing. People, usually when we take project to my boss, the deputy minister, you ask for the costing. And what the project is properly costed. What is putting there through numbers. But you now have 2 institutions doing, let's say, workshop. Let me make it very simple. Workshop. In your budget, you budgeted for bottles of water. Agency A is saying that the unit cost of water will be $1 US or 50 cents. Agency B is saying $1 50 cents or $2. And we all in the same city. Okay, we all buying water in the same place. So there has to be some kind of uniform in your pricing. You can't say, because your project costs more and analyzing. You can't just say something like outrageously high or suspiciously low. It has to be reasonable. Okay, your costing, you should be very careful with costing. Because the thing you buy in your project, other people buy in other projects too. So it's not new to you, it's not unique to you. So you can't put the cost there any kind of way you want to put it. And you also have to be careful about the timeline. In the project you implemented in 1 year, be honest about it, and do it in 1 year. You can't keep stressing it until the project will go for 5 years. Because maybe you feel that there will be money always available in the budget to finance the project. And sometimes the project does not get completed, and the money gets wasted because the money I was putting to it is completed, but you stop halfway, and you see some of the projects are uncompleted around the country, in other places. So you as a project manager, make sure you endeavor to complete the project within the required time frame. Don't always extend the time frame for implementation because of the anticipation of additional resources. Usually we don't have money. Okay, so I already talked about communication and management, so let's go to the next. Execution. When you have your project plan, you can start executing and carry out the project plan and the managing resources coordinating. The only way you can do proper execution is when you do proper planning. If you don't do proper planning, execution will be poor. Because in your planning, you will capture all your stakeholders. In your planning, you will do all your risk analysis. In your planning, you will do all your procurement analysis and your budget analysis. Then in executing now, you know what to do. Sometimes we reject proposals at the need of finance because there's no harmony between your proposal, your activities in the project. Sometimes you say we'll do activity A, B, C. You have a list of activities you want to implement. But now those activities need to be able to speak to your budget, need to be able to speak to those activities. The activity you want to do in the project, yes, you want to do website, you want to do the in your budget, you have different set of things there that are not consistent with what you have in your activity business. And also your procurement plan is different from the budget you have prepared. Then you're spending, so you have to make sure there's consistency between the list of activities you want to do in your project and the budget you have prepared. The budget someone needs to see the budget and say, yeah, these activities actually are the budget for it. There is the budget for these activities. Then you also need to make sure you migrate the budget into the procurement plan. All the procurable items in your budget, you migrate them into your procurement plan. The one that's going to be for national competitive bidding, you put in there. The one that's going to be for national competitive bidding, you put in there based on the threshold in the BCC Act and regulations. Then you migrate that into your spending plan. When you have a good plan like that, you can easily execute that project because your plan is good. Monitoring and controlling, I think I already talked about monitoring and controlling extensively. Next. So closing. Once the project is finished, it is recommended that you write a closing report, give a summary of the project, how well you managed to keep the plan, and the changes that you have had, or the changes you had to make, and why, and what you would do differently if you were to carry out the same project again, documenting your lessons learned. So this is one of our challenges in Liberia. One of the challenges we face in this country is that when people get funding to implement a particular project, when the funding phases out, and that's it. Even if the project is implemented, even if the project is the construction, let's say for construction, that's very easy to illustrate. If you're doing a construction project, maybe for a school or clinic, right after the construction is coming delegate, that's the end of the project. That's not the end of the project from a project management standpoint. You have to close the project. The closing of the project, that closing document of the project is important for lessons learned. It's important for you to do the proper closing and say this project, this is the closing report of the project. In that closing report, you summarize the project. You also highlight some of the adjustments you were able to make in the project, some of the changes you made and that were necessary because of circumstances either beyond your control or circumstances that manifested during the implementation. So changes that were made, documented in our closing report. And you also talk about what you have done differently and what are the lessons you learned and what are the recommendations for future projects. That closing report has to be done to take stock of all of the things that happen in the project and to document them. Because the next person that coming after you want to see the closing report, don't know what happened. Usually people coming after those who serve, there's nothing on the report, there's nothing on file for you to read to know what really happened. So it's important for us to do that. So going forward, try to do closing report for all of your projects. And there's another thing that will inform your closing report. During the monitoring process, if you are doing monitoring reports, it will be easy. You can just consolidate the monitoring report into a closing report. But if you bring all the monitoring, there's no report from there, it will be difficult to do proper closing report. So let's take that into serious consideration. So in essence, project management provides a structured approach to achieving desired outcomes by carefully managing all the moving parts of the project. So you as the project manager, you are basically integrating the different components of the project. The project has so many different components. Your job is to integrate all of them and bring all those parts together in order to successfully manage your project. Thank you very much. So I will take a few questions. If you don't understand anything I said, I can happily clarify. If there's any other thing that you want to know about project management, you also contribute to the extent of my knowledge. I have my bosses here, I have a lot of experts here who can contribute wherever I feel or wherever I have difficulty to contribute. So the floor is yours. Yeah.
So we are talking about project management. We usually talk about project management, people who work project objective and project goal. And then the same words.
Pardon me?
Project objective.
Yeah.
And project goal.
That's a very good question. That's a very good question. So there are times where you see, for example, objectives and goals interchange. There are some who say objectives, they will say specific objectives. So in the specific objectives, they will, especially in the utility sector. Okay, now they have changed most of the use goals. Okay, so you see sometimes you see objectives, then below the objective you see specific objectives. Sometimes you see the project goal, sometimes you see purpose. So these terminologies can be interchangeable based on the institution that is doing the project or that is using the template. Every institution has their structural template. There is no one template for project development. So every institution, the Ministry of Finance, we have our own project template. So what I encourage you to do is not really worry about goals and objectives, is to see which institution you're dealing with. For example, if you want to send a proposal to the UNDP, you get a UNDP template. If the UNDP template asks for the goals of the project, and instead of going below that, instead of purpose, sometimes you'll say unity purpose. So instead of goals, instead of objectives, you use the overall as the goal. Because the goal, in fact, sometimes the goal will be the outcome. For example, there is a hierarchy of results in project management. So usually we have short-term results, we have medium-term results, and we have long-term results. Okay, so the short-term results are usually the outcome, the output. When you say you want to construct a building, you want to construct an edifice, the construction of that building for school, maybe there's a village, you have 300 potential students there, they don't go to school. You want to construct a building to use it as a school to enroll those 300 students. When you construct that building, it's a short-term result. So that's an output. It's a short-term result. It's an output. Now, the reason you constructed the building is to enroll 300 students so they can go to school. So when you enroll the 300 students, it's a medium-term result. It's an outcome. It's an outcome that was only possible based on the output. The output is a short-term result, which is to build the edifice. Because the edifice is available, the school building is available, now you have 300 students enrolled. That's the medium-term result. Then there's a long-term result, which is the impact. Because 300 students are enrolled in the school, you have reduced the illiteracy rate of the country by 300 students. And you have increased the literacy rate by 300 students. So the impact of that intervention is that the literacy rate of the country has increased by 300 students. Alternatively, they say the illiteracy rate has reduced by 300 students. That's the impact. Now, the goal of the project was, usually when you set the goal is to be broad. The goal is supposed to be something broad. It's not, the goal can be to construct a school building. That cannot be a goal. The board cannot even be to enroll 300 students in the school. The board has to be linked to the impact. So the reason I'm giving you this illustration, you have to focus on the institution, because sometimes I was saying yesterday, you not always be sourcing money from government. You be sourcing money from other sources and other donors. So when you do project management, don't get stuck in a box. There has to be a degree of flexibility. Be willing to adjust to your donor's taste. So you get a UNDP template, you structure your proposal based on that template. You get our template, you structure your proposal based on our template. Hope that was helpful. Thank you. All right. Thank you. Any other questions for that? Yes.
Anyway, I want to say thank you for that brilliant expose. One thing I've noticed, my name is Thomas H. Baden from Project Planner of Bassa County, within work hospitality. And one thing I've noticed for the past Project Planner, I don't know if all of the notices for everyone now. Most of the time, we don't integrate a M&E setup at the beginning of the project. We bring them in when the project is already, then implement them, we go on and we bring them. And we see that when it comes to the structure of the project management, I think that is hacking properly because it should be integrated. So for the past I've noticed, from my background, during that, the M&E should be integrated on the beginning of the project to give the indicator to identify all the obstacles that will hinder the project.
I fully agree with you, and this is why going forward we intend to share our project sample with you, the MSDB project sample, so that you use it very well at the national level for the AID implementation. So all the projects that are being implemented on the AID are developed using our template. And we had a conversation, a few weeks ago in town for the people at the council level to do the same template because we want to achieve the same goal. And in our template, you see there's an area of M&E plan. We always try to make sure the M&E plan is part of the proposal. So it's part of the project planning. So I agree with you 100%. The project planning has to include the M&E plan. In the M&E plan, you talk about the indicators, the targets, and the means of verification, how you're going to verify implementation, and the baseline. So if you say you want to construct a high school in a particular district, you have to tell us how many high schools already in that district. The baseline against which you are doing the implementation, and what are the indicators? Okay, and how you're going to verify implementation, what's the means of verification. So I agree with you. That is part of our template. If there's any other country where you're doing project and they're bringing M&E on board, it's wrong. M&E should be a part of the project conception, the project design. So it's very easy now for us to implement because we know what they're looking for. M&E does not just mean to go and check on the project. So when we just look at the project, no. M&E is a deliberate effort. It's a deliberate effort that is conceived in the project design. So it's not something you just walk over, so let's look at the project, how the project is going. No. The M&E folks are going to view based on the project development, based on the developed proposal, based on the project M&E plan. They know specific things they're looking for. There are specific indicators. They want to make sure, they want to measure the progress against those indicators. So yes, I agree with you. Thank you. Maybe the last question. Let's take the last question that the customer asked. Yes. It could be the last question. Yes.
Thank you. My name is Joel. One of the areas that is so much important has to do with the filling station. And then I have, for example, someone is running a project, taking into consideration the risk factor. And you mentioned that sometimes it's good that you include, the risks that you may likely come across. But then this person is running the project in the middle of the project, they come across the issue of risks, for example, materials are stolen and all of that, then the person have to come back and now ask for additional resources to cover up, what happened. So is it sometimes good to do it that way, because at the planning stage, you know, had that line to say, okay, I will come across this problem so that I find ways to mitigate it. But in the middle of it now, then you come across that factor. You know, how do you handle that? And please, for recommendation, the presentation is so much important. I would really love that we share with some of us so that we have a copy of it. Thanks a lot.
So you see the question Jeff asked, I want someone to answer the question over here. Because there's something you talk about that will prevent when you get asked about. What is that? Can you respond to the question? Risk assessment. Exactly. So if you do proper risk assessment as a project manager, you will predict that something like that will happen. Especially theft. You know, the Japan freeway, during the construction of the Japan freeway, you know, people literally went and took the materials that people were trying to use for the construction, right? They were all on the news. People would go at night and take those materials to go and use it for their own construction. So you have to predict, you have to do proper risk assessment. You have to predict that some of these things will happen. Because one very clear thing I need to tell you, we don't have money at the Ministry of Finance sitting and waiting to disburse to people. There's always going to be funding constraints, and it's not unique to us. So you as a project manager, you need to be very careful with the limited resources that government will manage to disburse to your county for you to use for project implementation. Do not anticipate that there will be contingency funding that will give to you if someone steals the items you will buy with the project will do. So you always have to do proper risk assessment and put measures in place that will prevent those kind of things. It is on you as the project manager, not on us. So the mere expectation that they think your student will ball into your student, so let the Ministry of Finance give us some more money. You know, it doesn't work that way. But yeah, your concern is genuine. Sometimes you ask these questions not because of your own situation, but for the benefit of the rest of the people. So thank you very much for that question. And the answer is, you as a project manager have to do proper risk assessment and put measures in place to mitigate the impact of these risks on the project. Thank you very much. And I would like for my boss to comment on some of the things you asked about.
Thank you. I hope you share this information with you all, because I think it has a lot of things in it that we can learn from. One of the concerns is on the costing, and that's where we've had challenges in the past 2 years. In the past, PPCC used to develop a costing template, uniform costing template that would guide everybody on the cost of different items or activities in the budget. So we're working with them to see if we can get one out for next year. Because we can have Ministry of X requesting to buy a vehicle for 10,000 when another agency requesting to buy the same type of vehicle for 20,000. We will have something uniform that we can use. So we will re-engage PPCC to make sure that before we finalize the project, we have those kind of numbers that we use to guide in the process.
Issue allocation, because that's why we ask them that.
Okay, I understand that some of you are concerned about the allocations for your various counties. Unfortunately, we have a small part. We have so many children to divide those monies with. There are certain activities, especially those related to the AID, that are key. So that we partner with tax. So, but notwithstanding, there are other institutions that are not very visible within AIG, but still have activities to pursue. We try to ensure that everybody has something to at least care about. I think one thing we need to bear in mind is that these activities, most of them are not just implemented in 1 year. So that's why the spending plan is important when you put in your plan together, you should look at it and see maybe there's some activity that you need to do this year, maybe next year you can finish it. So you need to look at it when you're costing your different activities.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.